Hey everybody, it's Marty the JavaScript Party and my buddy Rhett here. I got her a nut. It was Saturday morning. Whoop whoop. Where are we at? 9:15. And we are doing unit tests today. I've got basically did some routing work and got to a good point where I'm like, okay, this would be a good place to commit some code, commit and push some code. But I kind of created this new idea in my head that I'm gonna do commits with only when I have 100% code coverage on unit testing. I would not suggest that as a like if you're trying to build something professionally. Probably shouldn't require 100% unit testing, but if you're trying to like learn all the ins and outs of your code and like you're trying to really like spend some time just deep diving into the technologies, unit testing has been absolutely fantastic for that. Um, I do think I don't know. I don't know what to think of unit testing. I'm still like on the fence on whether it's a good idea in a professional environment or not. And then the fact that Angular has decided to, um, what do you call it? They made it to where I can't remember the word for it, but they made it to where like they're saying, we're saying you probably shouldn't do this in the future. I don't know why I want to call it decrement, but that's the wrong word. But basically, they're saying that they're not going to encourage Jasmine Karma in the future, and they named off like three other ones that they're considering possibly doing, supporting in the future and all that. So I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I probably wouldn't do unit tests in a professional environment. On the other hand, oh my gosh, I also decided to do end to end testing as part of this, and I absolutely think I'm pretty sure it's that every place can benefit dramatically from end to end testing. I think it is a great idea. Um, like honestly, I just can't believe it's not just like a totally huge thing. I actually have written some end to end tests for my current job just like on my own just so that I can double check basic functionality of our application. Um, and because it's just like, oh man, it's just such a huge um, stress reliever. Like when I did my update of this to from Angular 19 to Angular 20, it just really was very a huge relief just to be able to go and the push buttons and make my end-to-end test run end-to-end and test all the things that I'd kind of forgotten about. And I don't, and the site's not even that big yet, so I think yeah, it's a game changer. But anyway, so we got 100%. I mean, we're all the unit tests pass, and that is good. It's a good thing. And then there's a part two of unit tests. So you can get them all passing, but then test coverage is important. Um, Now, I would say that, like, I have worked in places where, like, there's all these all these moving parts, and so when you write some code, in order for it to move through the whole system, um, it takes a lot of time, and a lot of times, like whatever you've worked on, you need to it's such a complex and big thing that like you can't context switch. It's going to be almost impossible for you to be able to context switch into the next big thing. So you kind of need to stay on that context, and if that is the case, then unit test probably does make a lot of sense. But the thing is like you have to make it maybe where the unit tests are a different project or something, um, so that it doesn't not unit testing probably shouldn't block progress, but it is a great way to like um, keep you in your brain in the right context and keep you busy, um, and and constantly be preparing for the battle. Like when you okay, now this thing's going to need to merge in with the rest of the code, and we're going to do this big release, and you need to understand every little aspect of it. Like writing unit tests is probably a really good idea for that situation, but you have to have a lot of time. Um, and I have a feeling as a industry, like um, we really focused on like getting faster and faster and faster, and yeah, now all the code is garbage everywhere. I mean, like I'm always amazed that like I mean it is not unusual, right? It is not like if tomorrow you've heard that some airline had to not had to cancel all their flights because of some software glitch, that wouldn't be a big surprise. That's just for the airline. That often is $1 billion glitch. But that's just the airline. Like you got to think like how many things, how many hotel rooms were canceled, how many vacations were canceled, how many like it's probably like if it's $1 billion cost to airline, it's probably literally like a 30 billion, $40 billion hit to the economy um, because of a software glitch. And we don't, and the thing is like it's like okay, maybe we should move slower and have a lot more focus on things getting done without shit breaking, right? Like I get that like companies have a hard time figuring out okay, how do I pour more money into software and get better results? I get that. But there's no reason why you can't pour more money into testing and then like literally fire everybody and take the hit all the QA people if the tests fail. Like you can make it real. You can make it serious. Like okay, you if we have to shut down, heads are going to roll, and then we're going to bring new heads in, and if it takes us 6 more months to get the next software release out, like when I first started coding, we had one release a year on this airplane, this C-130U model airplane. We had one release a year. That was it. We spent the first 5.5 months, 5 months and 3 weeks, 5 months and yeah, the first half of the year doing nothing but doing analysis, requirement analysis, technical analysis, software specification analysis, all kinds of analysis, test plans, all that stuff. 1 week of coding and 6 months of testing, and then they would put that on one of the 13 airplanes. And there was 13 airplanes because there was a software bug that caused one of them to get destroyed. Um, so because there had been 14 airplanes, and that happened before I started there. But like, guys, and the thing was, is the software is super expensive, right? Like, we did one thing where like literally all they had to do is take a sticker off of the keyboard of the stations. I think it was 4 stickers per airplane, and the stickers cost like $1.50 each for a little teeny tiny sticker, and 2 lines of code had to be copied from swapped, and that cost the government $70,000. Right, so it was not cheap to do this software, but they had very few bugs, um, and even with that level of just obsessive compulsive desire to have super high quality, even with that, bugs would get through. Um, but now, like, and it was just like, oh, this is ridiculous, blah blah blah. But now we have literally glitches that are costing billions of dollars all the time on a regular basis. So, anyways, Yeah, we're in interesting times, my friends. Interesting times. So looks like we have 100% code coverage all the way through here. I have no idea what that means to you, what that implies to people, and all that. That does not mean that if when we have 100% code coverage, that there are no bugs in the system. It just means that like there's something that gets executed that goes like we have a test that will go through this, and this used to be a really huge deal back before transpilers. Um, but most of the thing, especially for like if you're oh I want to upgrade my one of my libraries, like these unit tests would catch like a change in like the signature or something like that, and that was a constant thing that was breaking things. But now the transpilers and TypeScript catches all that stuff. So, but anyway, so we have a menu here. I think Rhett likes it when I spend less time opining and more time coding. I really do, and maybe she's got a point. But anyway, so I have two functions that aren't getting called, right? Like, see this ng-on-destroy gets called twice. This constructor gets called twice. All of these things get called twice. This class only gets created once, which is very interesting. So it's interesting that this class gets called once. I never really noticed that, but then these things in here get called twice. That's got to mean something. That that's gonna be bouncing around in my head for the rest of my life. Anyways, so I need to call this handle router events and all that. And I did ask Angular or Chat GPT yesterday. I was actually thinking about like how like writing probably there was probably when writing was invented. Um, let's just imagine that the history that we've been taught is accurate, which there's no reason. I mean, there's plenty of reason to not, but I don't know. But the idea was that there was these tablets, right? These metal things, and these scribes that used to take a hammer and chisel and write. I suspect that's what coding is, and people who code today are like kind of like them. And one day in the future, there'll be like um, people writing on notepads and stuff like that. It's just going to be, and I think um, that um, I and I think that ChatGPT is sort of moving us in that direction where the future kind of coding that's going to happen. Um, so I think that's neat because I think everyone's going to have to know how to code in the future. It's going to be a basic skill. And I started delivering pizzas for Domino's Pizza in 1986, and I worked with a lot of people who could neither who couldn't read, write, or do arithmetic. Today, there's no way that you could. You might not need to do arithmetic today, but there's definitely no way you could not read and write and be be a Domino's pizza delivery driver today. But all right, so I need to import. I need to find my test, and this would be app layout menu component. Probably the easiest way to do that would be to go p app dash layout component menu component. Yep. And I'm just gonna close all the other tabs, and then we need to open up the spec, and we need to add a we need to add something to test this, and this is a bit tricky because it needs to get um, this here. Now that's interesting. Did I router event types? That is interesting that it that it did put together that this is part of Angular, because I kind of broke that away if you think about it. Like in this line of code, this router event types. But anyway, so I guess we should bring in navigation end. And this is the thing. When you're getting code from ChatGPT, you really do need to go line by line over it to make sure that what you're getting is good. Um, like I have never had any luck just blindly copying and pasting code from ChatGPT. All right, so this is from Angular router. I guess that should be the second one. And I'm already getting something from Angular router. This activated route. Which I don't. Am I in the right? Yeah, that's interesting. And I will say that I think that it would, like a lot of this would probably just run. There's probably like I could do a tick or something. I could do something to force this to run, and it might just take care of itself. But I'd rather call it directly, because once you start depending on like running and using ticks and stuff to get things to run, you'll end up with like things suddenly not working anymore under other contexts, like the test just not running and stuff anymore. Okay, so I think I already have, fixture and text bed already here, and then I'm already importing my component because that's this component. And I'm already doing this declaration, and apparently I'm doing this for some reason. Not sure why I'm doing that. And then so over here it's saying that I should spy on my component. I don't know if I can just will that just work? I feel like I need to. All right. Yeah, I probably do need to create a whole new it specification, new test. And then since I'm just copying all that, I'm going to comment out everything and just sort of uncomment it so I can understand it. So spy on did work, and the name component, it does work. And let's just hit save, just make sure that the unit test works. And yeah, we're getting this warning that says it doesn't have an expectation. See if anything happened here. Nothing happened here. Okay, const event is a new navigation end event. So that's interesting. And apparently that's interesting to me, navigation end. And navigation takes an ID, a URL, and an after redirect string. So this will actually, I guess, change the thing. So I think I want to make it. Let's just try changing this to. Well, let's see what happens. Well, actually, nothing happens. All we're doing is declaring stuff. But I do want to see if I want to change this to custom and tabular. I don't think it should do anything, but let's see. Maybe. Yeah, I guess after redirects, it may actually run some of this code. That would be neat. That's some nice insight into understanding how things work. I don't think this did anything. And result. Now this should do something. Let's see if our coverage changes. So everything passed, so that's good. Let's see. Yep, we did have an increase in coverage. That is nice. Um, and then I guess this will be tabular. And I wonder if we can run it again, but to custom. It is weird though, because set. Oh, I wonder why set layout never doesn't get called. Right? That's weird, right? It's weird because it says that this line got called, but then it says that this line didn't get called, line 51, even though all this does is call this line. Unless the spy on, maybe the spy on. So what happens if I get rid of this spy on? And I get rid of this expect. I wonder if it'll actually. Once you move it, oh wow! So our line statements went up again to 99.7. That is so cool. So, and then so let's go ahead and get rid of this. I honestly have really not ever understood why you would want to spy on something. I can't wait till the day that that does happen. Let's turn this into a let. And then let's turn this into, let's just say event tabular. Custom to tabular. I hope that makes sense. So basically, I guess this is a kind of an object. I don't really know. We got it from there, and apparently it has this information in it, and um, and it handles things internally. And so I could do this, and it looks like I get this now. Um, and now I would like to have another event tabular to custom, right? And I don't know what this number is at all. Like, and I don't know if something is going to break internally because it's the same number. It doesn't really tell you much about the ID as a number. ID, like, should it be a different number, a different ID? I don't know. If that breaks, there'll be some knowledge. Like if something internally breaks, we'll probably learn something. Um, if I make one of them, like if I change the two IDs and nothing breaks, that doesn't tell me anything, right? But if I leave them the same and something breaks, then that teaches me something. Ooh. And really, the only reason Rhett is in here right now is because she needs the stimulation. Um, she doesn't really need a lot of stimulation if you think about it. She has a cage. She has like multiple levels, and she sees the dogs playing and stuff like that, and she loves to watch TV. But for the most part, she's in her cage 23 hours out of the day, and she's fairly happy. But like if she's in her cage 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, without being able to see anything that's going on, she gets pretty miserable, and she shouldn't have to be miserable. So, and sometimes she actually adds value. I think it's pretty interesting. Sometimes I'll watch my videos. I actually watch all my videos, but I'll see her back there. It would be actually maybe, you know what? I think today. Oh, look, 100%, 100. Um, um, today, maybe I'll try to buy her some toys. that, and then we'll throw them down there. Maybe she'll play around with the toys. I think that would be fun for people. But anyways, um, looks like we have 100%. Looks like when we call this, that's weird though, because oh, I call it twice. Call it there, and it runs through one way. Then I call it there, and it runs through the other way. Um, Hit save again, and then we'll hit reload, and we'll see the glory, the amazingness of perfect scores. Yep. So that is cool. I feel like I understand this a lot better. Um, I think like this test will break. Like, let's say we decide, let's say we got a bug, right? Let's say this was a professional application and we got this bug. And they said, I don't want to call it tabular. I want to call it table. And I don't want to call it custom. I want to call it costume or something. I don't know, whatever. Um, Unique. And then we change that. It would it break? I guess not. I guess it wouldn't. But like we could write this in such a way that the test would break if you change the routing. And would that bring any value? Probably not. Yeah, there's no. I don't, all we get is 100% coverage. This isn't. I don't think. I don't think it brings any value. It did well. Okay, it brought value in that I feel like I have a better understanding of this code now, and that's it. But it does feel good to get these green things, so that when I was a kid, for every A me and my brother got, we got $5, and for every B we got $1. C's we didn't get anything, and then D's and F's we got spankings. And I just to tell you, I very rarely got dollars. I got pretty bad grades, so I didn't get to see all greens like this. But I do like seeing all the greens. So that's that. We got three. We do have now. We've had a 2-line divergence. We have 2 lines that are not covered. Oh, that's right. Well, now we do want to go through, and anywhere we made a change in any of the unit tests that we made changes in, we want to run them independently and make sure that we still get 100% coverage. So we not only do we want to get 100% coverage, we also want every suite to test itself to 100%. And so we put an F in front of describe. And then we hit reload, and what we want to see is app still have under 100%. So we see like this is the only test that got ran, this suite of tests, and we see like all these other lines, like 186 lines got covered, even though there was only 11 lines in these suites. So there's like a lot of side effect testing that happens. And so we want to make sure that everybody has 100% without side effects. Okay, so that was one of the specs. And then I guess maybe the easiest way to do this will be in here. So that's one spec. And then that's not. Is this a spec? And I think this is sort of like we have gotten faster at this, because it used to be that let me go back to here. I can't remember if I removed by F describe. Yeah, I did. All right. Boom. F describe. So this is app custom layout component. We just want to make sure that thing, I think it's this one. layout component, custom layout component. It got 100%. Let me see. Yeah, it got 100% all the way across. It would be very interesting to see which one of these has the difference in. See this one. It has two statements and one line. So it'd be interesting to see. This must be, I guess, these two are the statements, but together they're only one line. This is only one line. It doesn't consider that a line. Well, that'd be interesting to figure out. Like I said, I figured this out exactly like 5 times, probably in my career, and every time it's been so underwhelming that I can never remember what it was. Um, but so it looks like that one's working. So let's go ahead and undo that. Go back to all files, and then let's go back to this guy. Describe. And then we are testing tabular layout component spec. And that's interesting because that one ended up getting called. That already had 100% without this. And yeah, we have 100% coverage on this. So everybody tests themselves. Every suite is fully tested and all of that. So I would say I'm officially done with unit testing. And then there's one last piece of the puzzle before we do a commit. Won't finish it today. Yesterday I was saying I would finish it today, but I will not. PM run Cypress open. This is our end-to-end test. Basically, I want to add a new suite in the end test. Well, first of all, the most important, the most important thing is that none of our existing suites fail. Test suites fail, and then I think they're called test suites. And then, oh shoot, I did that wrong. Oh no, I did that right. For some reason, I thought I typed in space open, but that's just what the package command is. Come on. So today I'm just going to make sure that everything passes, and if it doesn't, maybe fix it. I think we're done with this here. Don't need that anymore. Well, let's leave ChatGPT open for the moment. It was funny, there was like the other day when I logged in, where is it? This came up. It was like, hey, we think certain things about you. Do you want to know what they are? And it was like basically just an ego stroking event. It was funny though, because it thought I knew React. And I was just like, yeah, I don't know React. I don't know React at all. I've taken a ton of React courses, but nobody wants to hire a senior engineer, senior developer in a place that doesn't know whatever their technology is. Like, it's one of the biggest misconceptions I think that junior developers have. So when you're a junior developer and you're getting brought in, they're really not that interested in like what your actual experiences. So they'll be like, oh, okay, so you learned XYZ technologies, blah, 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 blah. They just want to see that you can learn technologies. But when you're a senior developer, usually they're bringing in, they don't want to hire senior developers. No one wants to hire a senior developer. The only reason senior developers are in demand is because like literally for every junior developer that exists, there's for every 1,000 probably junior developers, there's only one senior developer. I mean, senior developers are so exceedingly rare, and they get rarer quick because people leave the business, and so you end up there are just so few senior developers. So even though there's very, very little demand for senior developers, there's even less supply. Um, but yeah, when you're a senior developer, they're bringing you in because they have a problem and they want you to come in and fix their problem. And if you can fix it real quick, then they'll be happy to fire you very quickly. So like, keep that in mind. Um, but anyways, and they would deny it all day long, and they actually would deny it, and they actually believe that that they actually don't think they would really fire you, but they would. The minute their problem is gone, they will. All right. So we are good. First one, yeah, I totally expected that. Actually, I totally expect them all to pass. I don't see why any of them would fail. Um, and my favorite one so far. And like just this stuff is useful, right? Like if it fails, but also watching it is very useful. Um, but anyway, so yeah, all the tests pass. So tomorrow, what I want to test is basically changing the URL to custom. I think I can do that here. Let me see if I can custom. No, it doesn't let me. Um, but changing the URL to custom and seeing that, or to um, um, I'm so thrown off by there's like this new thing popped up. I don't know what that's all about. Um, but I guess when I clicked on this, it popped a new one up. Oh, interesting. Okay, that's new. I mean, that's something I was unaware of. Let's see, what does this drop down do? Oh, that's cool. Um, I don't know. I've never even tried Electron. I don't even know what you would see in Electron. Yeah, apparently it runs. It just runs again. Um, anyways, yeah. So I just want to basically write a a Cypress test that goes to here and checks to see what this is, and then goes to here and checks to see what that is, and makes sure that that's the right thing, and then goes to here and checks that, and then I guess clicks this, and that is there, and then clicks it again, and that is there. That that the route changes. So uh, uh, I guess I want to tee myself up for tomorrow. I kind of like that. Cypress to click a button and verify the route is. Ah, use CY or CY location. Yeah, so that's going to be super simple. So we'll do that tomorrow. I'm going to work on my voice API project next. Happy coding, everybody. Bye.